Hi, how's it going? This is Resident of Collinwood for YouTube, back with another Dark Shadows review for you guys and gals, reaction review, I should say. It's episode 56, season 2, episode 21, if you're watching along on Tubi. This is a really, really fun episode. We're still on the day where you met Sheriff George Patterson. It's now 12 o'clock. You see the grandfather clock as Vicky is doing the narration. Carolyn is coming out of the kitchen and she's going up the steps. And I love how they shoot this too, where Elizabeth opens the door and Carolyn stops on the steps and has to turn to see who's talking to her. She sees that it's her mother and she comes back down the steps. Great camera work by Leela Swift. Great job. I enjoyed the camera work, as I've often said. And these episode reviews are really good. Does Elizabeth is Elizabeth the one who tells Carolyn about Bill Malloy? No, no, but she does tell Carolyn that her and Victoria Winters were not wrong in what they saw. They did indeed see a dead body, and Matthew lied about it. She does tell Carolyn that, and as Carolyn's sort of, well, who was it? The phone rings. Carolyn is closer to the phone than what Elizabeth is. So Carolyn answers it, and they tell her, they found Bill Malloy's body. The sheriff's office tells Carolyn this. And she goes, and you can hear the hurt in Nancy Barrett's voice. I think that's something that is really underrated about this episode here. The hurt in a lot of the people who knew Bill Malloy. Is this Bill Malloy's funeral? No, not necessarily, but you don't actually get a funeral for him either. It's not like they show that episode. This is, in a sense, they're mourning the character in every way, because when Carolyn says to her mother, "Oh, well, she says, oh," but she says, was that who we saw at the Widow's Hill?" And you see Elizabeth turn, and in the previous episode you got Catherine Lee Scott's Maggie Evans covering her mouth. This time you get Joan Bennett's Elizabeth Collins Stoddard covering her mouth, and you see the hurt in Elizabeth's face. Like, why could... There's a lot of emotion there in that scene between Elizabeth and Carolyn. Elizabeth is, why couldn't I tell her? I wish I would have been the one who told her, not some cop, obviously. And she's also at the same time mourning Bill Malloy, thinking about how Bill Malloy's body was, lying in the ocean, and it was pushed back, lying at the foot of Widow's Hill, and then it was just pushed back into the water like it was nothing. By Matthew Morgan. So Carolyn knows now. Carolyn knows because the cops told her. Again, you see a lot of the interaction between mother and daughter is really great. You see a lot of, again, emotion, and the emotion is just too good. I mean, it really is. And finally, you get Roger at the Blue Whale, and he comes in with his hat on. He takes it off. You still, somewhat see the scar. It's going away. I mean, come on, they're not going to keep that forever. What I really like about this camera work inside the Blue Whale, I'll get into Roger and Sam here in a minute, is when Sam Evans has two glasses. of liquor. It's not really liquor, but still, the fact that the effect of having two glasses, you know, signifies Sam is in mourning. Sam is mourning Bill Malloy's death in his own way. Um, I love that shot because it tells that story without Sam saying words to Roger right away. It tells that. I love this episode for that reason because I've said about how the characters are some of the characters in mourning. Sam, before he reveals to Roger that Bill Malloy is indeed dead, um, which Roger sort of suspects that he just plays coy a bit here, in my opinion, that you have the two glasses and you see Sam sort of thinking about Bill and thinking about what kind of man Bill was. It's a really, really great moment. Go back and watch this episode if you haven't. Um, just go watch some DS because you can. I do. I do. I don't just do it for the reviews, for fuck's sake. I'm an evil, evil man. Now, you might say, well, this is a bold move by Roger coming into the Blue Whale. Sam's there. What if somebody walks in, like Burke or something, and accuses of us up? I'll say this. Is it bold? Sort of, but also, too, the Blue Whale's a public place. It's a public bar. He saw Sam drinking, with two glasses and wondered, what's the deal? Why the two glasses? He was having a conversation with the man. Again, it's a public bar. So, I mean, that could be easily explained to other people, and that's all they need to explain it to is other people. Roger doesn't care about explaining it to Burke as long as he can get it over with other people. Now, I will say that what I love too is in this episode, we get Vicky making her bed, and in Vicky's room, Carolyn is crying, and Vicky goes over to her, and you see, you know, Vicky standing behind Carolyn and trying to comfort her, like, hey, what's wrong? And she talks about, going for the things in life, that life is so unfair and stuff like that. And I really like that. And it also gives Vicky the encouragement to go snoop around by the end of this episode. Um, Carolyn does eventually will get dressed, just not in that scene. She's still in her nightgown. Vicky is dressed in her street clothes, if you will. Um, and then, back at the Blue Whale, Roger makes a phone call confirming what Sam told him, that Bill Malloy's dead. And yes, they found Bill Malloy's body up the coast. Again, you have Roger wants Sam to to tell the police what he already told them, that they didn't know what the meeting was about. And Sam, I love the dialogue. Sam goes, I didn't kill him. I didn't kill Bill Malloy. And Roger's like, I want you to know I'm going to do everything in my power to find out who killed Bill Malloy if he was murdered. I want to make you very aware of that. So this is Roger sort of playing hero, playing a card he can afford to play, because to him, hey, all I got to do is keep up my lie and make sure Sam keeps up it too. And all Sam has to say is he didn't know why the meeting was being called. And you get Burke Devlin, who's going to say different. Well, 2 against 1. Okay. It's a great, again, it's a great conversation. Um, of it back in Vicky's room. Vicky, Carolyn has told Vicky, by now. And then Joan Bennett's Elizabeth excuses Vicky for the day, says David can forget his lessons, he can go outside and play, and this encourages. This is going to encourage Vicky, also encourage Vicky, all the more reason to leave the house and try to have dinner with a man named Sam Evans. Eventually, I really love the scenes at the Blue Whale. They're really, really good. And he's dead. They're talking about Bill Malloy being dead. It's a great, great scene. And we get some eerie music. Uh, we're going to get Carolyn opening the history book here. And looking at Josette's picture, the Collins family history book. And if memory serves me, there's a mention of maybe why not put Bill Malloy in the Collins family history book. He was loyal to him. Not Matthew Morgan loyal, but loyal to Bill wouldn't have killed. Bill would not have killed somebody, I believe. Not even Burke. I mean, unless Burke was trying to kill Liz, and all that's then that would have been a different story. There's a Collins family history book open, and turns right to Josette. And then, yep, it's Carolyn in her street clothes. She's dressed. The drawing room door's open. There's Vicky. I believe, if memory serves me, they closed the plant in this episode for the day, but they more impact it in the next episode. Yeah, she talks to Vicky about Bill Malloy. Vicky, I'm looking for someone who knows me. She asks Carolyn for a lift into town, and Carolyn says, "You want to get away from this gloomy house, huh?" She tells Vicky to forget what she said because she was feeling very low. You want to get something done? It's foolish to keep putting it off. Vicky says, "I love Vicky's optimism in this episode. Everybody's focused on mourning. Vicky is optimistic." So Vicky asks Carol how much you know a man called Sam Evans. Nothing. He's an artist. That's one way to put it. He is an artist. Vicky asks Carolyn if she knows his daughter Maggie. Yep, she works in a hotel restaurant. And Vicky says, "Well, Carolyn tells Carolyn that Maggie asked her to come to her home for dinner." And she mentions how Vicky mentions to Carolyn how her uncle got upset when she mentioned it to him. And could Sam Evans know something about Victoria's past? No, but this is good little misdirect by the writers. It's not a complete misdirect though. Not completely. How could they have known? Right? They should have. Roger should have. Well, I won't be too hard on him. Oh, okay. Roger doesn't know to the degree of Sam loved painting different women. He should have suspected when Burke was the guy posing uh for Sam. Roger says he hoped Matthew made a mistake, and this is what Roger says about the plant. They're going to close for the rest of the day, and they are. They are going to close for the rest of the day. It's only 12 o'clock, and they're closing down for the rest of the day. So Vicky is going to leave, because Carolyn's not going to go into town now. Because she was going to go into town to find Uncle Roger. Uncle Roger's come home. And Vicky's going to leave and go to the Evans. At least that's what she's hinting at. She's going to go to the Evans place. I will say that, should Roger suspected that portrait of the woman that looks like Victoria, it just goes to show you Roger doesn't know Sam as much as Burke does. Which isn't bad. I mean, you need sort of, what character flaws are really great for? They're really great at making you feel the person is as normally human as you are. That it gives that reality to the character. Yes, these characters are fictional as hell, but they add as much reality to them as if they were real people. Because they're being played by real people, and you're getting the emotion of, okay, you get the mourning of Bill Malloy in this episode. And it's not over, because this day is not over. You're going to get Mrs. Johnson, I believe, in the next episode. I believe she shows up in the next episode. And oh my god. Man, oh man, is she she's gonna she is not gonna be happy. She shouldn't be. The person she was working for is dead. Again, I love how Dark Shadows always delivers on the acting, the writing. Yeah, I believe Art Wallace wrote this episode. So, Leela Swift directed it. If I didn't mention that, I thought I did. I'm old. I'm getting old. I'm fucking 40. I love the camera work in this episode. I've talked about it a bit. Again, I really love how they shot the first sequence in the Blue Whale. Really, really well done. My favorite... It's hard to pick a favorite moment in this episode, because I love Joan. It's such a veteran move to turn away and cover your mouth when you're upset, because you're holding back the tears. That's what that is. You're holding back tears, in a sense. I've seen that done in fucking real life too. It doesn't work usually, but here you see her turn because the camera is showing her turn away and then showing her cover her mouth. And then you get you get the sadness in Carolyn's voice. You get the sadness in Elizabeth's voice. You could say, well, Vicky isn't really sad. Well, Vicky didn't really know Bill Malloy, did she? She's more hopeful to find out more about herself. I don't mind it. She didn't know Bill Malloy. You hear the sadness in Roger's voice too when he gets home. My favorite sadness is Sam Evans, and not just because he's in a bar and having 2 cups of beer, or liquor, if you will. It's the fact that he has the 2 cups and he's sitting there sorrowish. He's sorry Bill Malloy's dead. And you can see that before he says a word. I think that is so underrated in this episode. But you guys can be the judge. Go check out episode 56. I got to do episode 57, guys.